if growing up in the States, you identified as you felt American, you're raised in a nice American family. What constitutes an American, or what, like you said, in America, people look, you're a visual minority. People are saying, you're not American. You come here, they hear a little accent in your voice, and they go, oh, you're not Korean. What I've been talking about this with students and my wife and my friends all week, and trying to not nail down, but trying to better understand what constitutes a Korean, or what constitutes an American. Is it simply holding a passport? Is it being born in the country? Is it a subjective feeling? What would you? How would you define a Korean or an American? What makes someone American? What makes someone Korean? Is it? I mean, you can go down tough. To cultural practices.
I mean, like identity. Well, for anyone, is extremely difficult. You know. Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to put your finger on it and try to define it, it's really difficult.
Absolutely.
Like for me, it's the feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and perfect example, being a Korean American adoptee.
Yeah.
So growing up in the United States, people telling me you're not American, you're not American, you're not American, right? Which is really different for me because like when I was born, I wasn't American. So it's gonna sound kind of weird to say, but for me, in a sense, I almost feel like I'm more American than people who are born in the United States because they were born that way. They have no idea what it means not to be American.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? So for them, there's no point of reference. It's just like, what was that? There was a thing on social media back in the day where like like a teacher brought in, like took all the desks out, right? And so all the kids come to class, there's a classroom, it's empty. And the kids are just sitting there. It's like, what the hell, right? And then she had like army soldiers or something like that, and they're all carrying a desk, right? And they come into the classroom, each soldier holding a desk and putting it into place, right? And the teacher basically told the kids, it's like, right, you guys are here because these people fought for you, right? Mm-hmm. Like you guys literally did nothing. You are reaping the rewards of these people's, of their effort and what they have done, right? And that's kind of so for me. That's kind of what I think about a lot of people in the United States right now these days, because you have these people like, I'm the true American,
right.
And it's just like your ancestors came from another place. Like everyone in America is literally
exactly.
from another place,
pretty much,
and you have the audacity to tell me I'm not American. Do you even know your cultural background?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing, because like I got every racist name like in the book thrown at me as a kid. I mean, people would call me like, I'm not
every
gonna say
racist name,
like the C word or the N word, or the S word. Hey, I'm like, I'm not Spanish, I'm not black, and then like even for Asian countries, like how easy would it be for them to ask, oh, what's your cultural ethnicity, right? They play the guessing game. Yeah. Are you Chinese? No.
Everything.
Are you
Korean?
Japanese? No.
I mean,
Are you Vietnamese? I'm like, no. I said, Russians are Asian too. Or, for that matter, why didn't you suggest, are you Lebanese?
Absolutely.
But like, no, for them, and I think that's kind of the thing these days. If you look at like the whole Asian hate thing, all these ignorant people like spewing that hate, everyone's Chinese. That's it.
Yeah.
In Asia, like in the US, they don't differentiate between, this is Korean, this is that, and especially with Trump and all his crap, but I'm not going to go to him, but he just made it worse by his comments.
So. You said it's a feeling, and I think that the feeling can change.
Oh, definitely.
Do you agree? I think when I go to Canada, I'm like, holy shit, I'm not Canadian. I'm so different. I feel so different than these people, but I know I'm Canadian. But I think, what is Canadian? And when I'm in Korea, I think, okay, I feel like I fit in here, even though I know I don't fit in and I'm not Korean, but I feel like I'm Korean in many ways, even though it's obvious that I'm not. But would it change if I got the citizenship? Does that mean I'm really Korean now? Well, it doesn't change anything,
there's
right?
subjective and objective measures.
But
right?
that's kind of the thing. Like paper, yeah. Even if you do get citizenship, that's a piece of paper,
Exactly.
It doesn't
right?
change anything.
right? So, and that's kind of the thing because like you have a lot of these issues, like people, like, what they identify with. So like it's like transgender, like is this person a woman? Are they a male? Like, what pronoun do I use? Whatever. And you've got a lot of people who are just like, oh, this is stupid. Oh my God, there's only men and women. It's like, and I think I would like to believe that we've evolved to be like, to
more understanding,
be more understanding of each other, but not to think so linear, like in black and white.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, the rule is very simple because you have a lot of people like, well, how do I address them? How do I refer to them? It's like you refer to them the way they want to be referred. It doesn't matter if you agree, disagree. If they identify woman, they are a woman. That's how you treat them. If they identify with being a male, then that's what they are. And it's like, again, even if it's something that's out of your realm of experience, it doesn't give you the right to
shit on their
shit on
their lived experience.
Right, exactly.
I wonder if it seems like we are all arguing the same. It's pretty much a subjective experience. How much of it, I wonder, is subjective, and how much of it is like your own feeling of, in my example, like, oh, I'm Canadian or I'm Korean or whatever, versus the opinion of other people. I wonder how much the opinion of other people really weighs in on our conscious or determines our feeling of being, or what I mean? Right. Do you understand? Like
in that way, I'm 0.0% Korean.
Yeah.
But this is when we have the Ghanaian guys in and stuff, and they go, "Holy shit! Like you know more about Ghana than I do." And the same in Korea. Like my first 5 years, I think every weekend we went to a different festival, city, town. We traveled the whole country, top to bottom, and most Koreans have been to the same 5 or 6 places, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Wow!" So everywhere, I've traveled pretty extensively, and when I go, it's not just 2 and 3 days. I go to get to know it, to see it. And those people go, wow, you know probably more about my country than I do. And that's the same as you saying, I'm the real American, but you know way more about the history and what it's like to be American than they probably do. So
you have more points of reference, right? To do. So then I think the next in my train of thought, the next thing is, when we talk about LGBTQ or being Korean or American or
is this going to be from Joe Rogan?
No. What does that have to do? No, but how much of where we're from, how much of your identity is where you're from? Why should if you're if I'm Canadian, is that half of my identity? Should I I'm a dad, I'm a brother, I'm a son, I'm a teacher, right. Sweet podcaster.
I think we pick and choose which one fits the situation.
Right. Well, because
when America does something dumb, we say, "Hey, I'm Canadian." when Korea does something good, we say, "Hey, Korea rules at coronavirus. Look at us, we're doing good." I mean, I think we pick and choose whatever fits.
So you just adapt whatever the narrative is. You're just
Father's Day. I'm Dad of the Year.
But I don't know. I think
how much should be like. How much should you, if this is you're a million things. You're a photographer. How much of it, even, like, is it important where you're from or like?
I think what's important is what's on Instagram. Because what we've learned from doing this is that bringing in people. I mean, he's never met you. I met you a few times, but bringing in people that we've known for 10 years. And bringing them on here, we learn so much about them that we didn't know. And we've always thought of them as this, but now we know so much more about them, and probably our perspectives have changed. So I don't know, how much can you know? And these days with the superficial social media, you know what's portrayed on Instagram. So
maybe you can like have a guess measure whenever you say, like, for example, Korea, like you say we are doing good. So you automatically identify with this community, right?
Yeah.
When you say Canadians or whatever, then you say us or we. So whenever you
yeah.
start associating, you can have a vague idea for yourself, but probably it's very hard to objectively say that.
Stereotypes may be a good measure, but not the only measure.
Right.
No. Shouldn't be the. Well, I just think too often we're focusing, or we boil people down to one thing.
Yeah, you
You're-
pigeonhole them.
Yeah, you're American. You're this. You're Korean. That automatically puts you in this. But we should be telling more, or maybe.
But when we say you're American, isn't it because you were doing something very
Stupid.
American? I mean, you're not known as that American guy because you never go around thumping your chest saying I'm American. I mean, we know that because you do that. If you're posting photographs online every day of cool stuff, then we assume you're the photographer and you're not a musician. But if it was music stuff online all day, then we'd probably say, hey, Lee Kelly, the musician.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe going forward, everyone should. I don't know. I'm giving advice here to
Ask for more pictures.
Yeah,
Can you show us
maybe we
all
should
the
try and-
representative
we want to
pictures?
know a little bit more about you.
Maybe we should try and flavor our view of people to more than just one thing, not just
Not
that
just the
one story.
squat champion.
Oh, yeah. Well, my Instagram. What happens when you hit the search bar on Instagram? Do you look at cameras or are you seeing chicks squatting? Is that just me?